Hey, what's going on, everyone? Joe Menza here, and I thought I'd do something a little different. This is my little sketchbook here. I've taken with me different places and just flipping through a few pages here. Thought I would do something a little bit different. I was watching a PBS thing, and I saw a lady on there, and she was painting in a little sketchbook like this. And I thought it was fairly interesting. I mean, I was like, there's a demand for something like this? I don't know if there is or not, but I guess painting on a small scale, something that's just sort of a hobby, would be fun. And I enjoy it from time to time, just taking my little book out. This is a book, it has Arches paper in it. And this little book here, I had someone made it for me on Etsy. Annetta Cohn Nature Sketches, I think is the name of her store. So what I have here is this is actually the similar palette. This is the Winsor & Newton palette, but I've modified it. I've taken the little cubes out, and I'm using the whole entire rectangle. And I have in what we refer to in our group as the Ron Ranson palette, which is the basic 6 or 7 colors. Alizarin crimson, a yellow like a cad yellow, permanent, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, Payne's gray, burnt umber. I also have a burnt sienna and a Van Dyke brown. So I've wet this little page down here I'm using the small hake. We call it a hake brush. It's just easier. I'm using the small goat hair brush, and I'm just wetting this down. And now I'm going to take a little bit of yellow ochre, and I'm just going to dab in the areas that make up the sky in this. I'm just making this up as I go along. You can do something from a photo if you want to, whatever, but just basically keeping this very, very simple. A little bit of light red. Light red is a Winsor & Newton color, by the way. I'm making like a purple. You can use like a blue and a red. And I'm making up sort of a purpley color, and this is going to make up the clouds for this little small sketch. I always find it odd calling a painting a sketch, because to me sketching is like drawing something, but I guess you're drawing with paint, so I'll go with it. Just going to take and run a little bit across the bottom here, a little dry brushing. Try to keep some areas of light going. And it's easy to do on this paper. It's got a good tooth and a good absorbency to it, so you can do that quick stroke across and you can leave some areas of white. So you got to just trust the process, especially on this cotton paper, that as it dries, it's going to have a nice look to it. So obviously you can't use a really big brush for this, but to keep within the theme of what I do, this is the small hake. You can use small round brushes. And I think round brushes have their place, but there's something about using a more of a flat brush that I find appealing. So these are just the basic colors here. If I've left any out, I don't think so. Alizarin crimson, use a permanent alizarin crimson. And I also use a Van Dyke brown. You can see I've used the slot back there to put a couple extra colors in. So it's really 6, 7, 8. Now I have about 9 colors in there. Now I'm taking some ultramarine blue, and I'm just going to do a small little mountain range back here, just using sort of the corner of the brush. Just making little pointy shapes. Getting a little more of the blue and a little bit of Payne's gray, and just darkening that a little bit. I don't want it to fade back too much. Just touching up the bottom of that, taking a little bit of paint off for a little bit of light on the edge. You can use a plastic card still for this, even though it's small. But you can also lift a little bit of paint off. So make a little bit of a green up here, a little bit of ultramarine, little cad yellow hue, and some Payne's gray. Make your own greens. I'm not a fan of using like Hooker's green, sap green. If I did use a sap green, I'd have to like mix raw sienna or something with it to make it more realistic. But those green colors, they just look a little too fake and a little too bright for landscape paintings for me. So here I'm going to put a little bit of a tree. I was just going to try to dab on some leaves with a dried hake, and the bristles kind of ruffled up. But I think I'll put the trunk in. So I'll wash this off. So you need, I have 3 brushes here. I have a rigger, a round, and the hake brush. I'm just going to use this round brush. Now with this size here, you can do the whole painting with the round brush, but I'm so used to using the hake for different things. So here I'm just going to use the rigger, put in some little branches. So yeah, this is I think could be a fun little series to do with the sketchbook. You can pull up somewhere in your car, and you can pull it out and do a quick sketch. I've taken this book with me to various places. I took it with me to Bahamas, a couple other places that I've gone to, and I've sat on the beach. I've had a couple people come up to me and they were like, "Oh, that's really nice what you're doing there." I didn't really think much of it, but I guess it was impressive to some people. Now, I've made a little bit of a darker green here, adding a little more Payne's gray. I'm just going to define the bottom of that little mountain range a little bit. The important thing here is really you're not getting caught up in any details. You're letting the brush do a lot of the work for you because it's tiny stuff. So when someone looks at it, it's going to be impressive because of its scale. On one hand, it's harder to work freely on a small scale like that, and on the other hand, it's easier because you don't have to worry about the details even more than if you did a large scale type painting. So I'm going to try to do some more leaves here. So really all you need is a water container. You need a towel to dry off your brush, and I'd say 3 brushes maximum, like around the hake, and a rigger, or you can even throw a little flat brush in there if you wanted to. But the hake can do that for you. So I'm just dipping into some of those same green colors, Payne's gray, ultramarine blue, cad yellow, and I'm letting the tips of the bristles do the work for me. Not my greatest tree ever, but you get the idea. This is fun because you can pull up really to any little area. I mean, if you want to work out of your car, or maybe you want to sit in the back with the hatch up or something, you got a SUV or something like that. You can sit in the back and you can just, scribble in 2 or 3 pages in your book, and maybe you can use that to make a bigger painting when you go home. I just put a couple little birds in the sky and a couple little sticks in the ground. Really, that's pretty much it for this painting. I'm going to work on this tree that I wasn't real super thrilled with, but put a little darker side, a little shadow side on here. Now, if you're taking this book out, you're going to probably sit there a little bit and let things dry. You're not going to probably have a hair dryer, so you take your time with it. If you want things to dry in between certain things. So just making a few little sticks. I'm just defining, just doing a little dry brushing in there. So if you like this thing, let me know. I mean, if this is something you want to see more videos of in the future, let me know. I'm happy to do them. I think it's fun overall. If you want to see me sketching on a smaller scale, I'll do more. Let me know in the comments, and I appreciate your support and your views and all of your comments and all of that stuff. So yeah, you could fool around all you want with the rigger brush and put some little details in. I'm doing the same thing I normally do, but on a smaller scale. Here, I'll just show you a little. Take my credit card. I'm just scraping. You can do the very same things that you do, just again on a smaller scale. I probably scraped a little too much off there. Obviously, you do small scale like that. I don't know how much, when you do a big painting for a wall, it can be appreciated, and if for what it's worth. Something like this is probably going to be something, I don't know, it's for your own amusement, really. And like I say, it can be saved and used for your own usage as far as taking home and maybe doing a bigger painting based on what you did. It can help you work out color schemes and shapes and little things like that without utilizing, big paper. So that's it. Let's zoom in and just kind of look at the little things here. You can sign it if you want to, in the corner. I think it's a nice little painting. So that's it. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great week.